Welcome to the mindless musings of friends while two of us play Stardew Valley.
There's the other one. There it is. Hey, buddy.
Kieran,
No.
it's 2:45. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm kind of hungry. Why? Why? What? Huh?
Why is Joe linking? Oh, his computer. Okay.
Kieran's curious.
SSD.
Why? What about it being 3:45? What'd you mean?
It's like super light.
And? It's Friday night. Any of us
Oh.
actually got planned tomorrow? The call is fun.
Oh.
It's always a good opportunity to talk.
What have you got? A micro?
No.
I cannot seem to fucking look this damn thing up. It's just not interested.
512 gigabyte SSD storage. What's the point? Is this a work computer?
No.
That's half a terabyte SSD. That's not that bad. And besides, external hard drives and stuff are a thing. So I don't even take that too much into consideration unless, like, the hard drive or SSD is particularly small. 512 is a decent size.
It's an OK i7 processor at least.
Phil's not impressed.
No, but Phil's a massive nerd, so it's going to take more than, just a computer to get him interested. That said, if you really want to make Phil happy, just slap a Gundam sticker on it.
Perfect. I'll take 10.
Okay. Yeah, it won't let me click the link directly, but that's weird. I don't know why it won't let me select the fucking product.
Alfred Molino's really returning to play Doc Ock.
Probably the voice.
No, they confirmed he's returning for Spider-Man 3.
Well, at least the director for 14 will be happy, though.
Why?
What? Why?
What, Spider-Man? The whole samurai thing?
Yeah,
I
it
don't-
was a name convention thing.
Yeah, I know.
What is he referring to?
Sounds like he was probably a fan of Spider-Man in the first place.
No, this guy's a huge Gundam nerd.
Why is he a Spider-Man
like
fan?
Gundam and Spider-Man at the same time?
Wait, why is he a Spider-Man fan? What am I missing?
It was like an old joke from Stormblood, where he tried to obfuscate the samurai job by wearing a Spider-Man t-shirt. And everybody was like, what? Spider-Man is a job now?
Guy is known at hinting at the upcoming classes and roles by wearing a shirt vaguely related. And he wore a Spider-Man shirt because the director was Sam Raimi.
So before Machinist
Which-
was announced, he wore a James Bond t-shirt for a Daniel Craig movie. Before Dark Knight was, a job, guess what he wore then? Yeah, you can pretty much figure that one out. Before, what were the other ones?
But yeah, the Spider-Man one is specifically kind of weird, though.
Like before Viera were announced, he was wearing Bugs Bunny t-shirts, and I think people were going like, "What?"
So he's just a fan of comic characters, or what? Or, I don't know,
Probably.
Looney Tunes in Bugs Bunny's case.
Well, let's put it this way: the Sage job, if he walked out on stage wearing the new Gundam, from Shah's Counterattack on a t-shirt, he would have got sued. He would have been sued to boogery and back because that job looks exactly like that. Like, and apparently the new one is like a Grim Reaper job, like a necromancer or something with like a giant scythe. And he's been like wearing Grim Reaper t-shirts for like the last season.
Not today, matey.
Not today.
Yo, is it true, by the way? You know that scene where Tony goes off on Steve in Endgame?
Yeah, what about it?
Yeah, apparently that was unscripted.
Wait, which scene?
You know,
Oh,
the one where Tony's like clearly skinny and pissed off and left, but he's just had to witness Pete's death and everything.
yeah, what is up with Robert Downey Jr. in that scene? He looks so skinny and vulnerable. Like, did he, lose weight in between that and the reshoots or something?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Because like I've never seen him that skinny before, and it's so weird.
Almost like he looks like Steve without the powers.
No, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man.
It's almost like he looks like Steve without the powers. Do you get it? What did Steve look like originally at the very beginning of the series without powers?
He never had any powers, though. Tony Stark.
No, Steve.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying Robert Downey Jr. looks skinny in that scene, not Chris Hemsworth.
Yes, because he's powerless. Do you get it? It's metaphorical.
Yeah, Joe.
They just got
buddy.
their asses kicked.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but apparently that whole speech is like completely unscripted. I wonder if they just gave him some directions and pointers and like things he could work with, and they filmed him, like edited or unedited.
He's mocking one of my favorite Captain America lines too, which kind of pisses me off.
We'll do it together. Yeah, we lost together, buddy. Thanks.
They didn't lose together. They lost separate because Tony Stark was a douchebag. Me, Registration Act.
No, they lost because Steve wasn't there. Steve was off gallivanting out in Scotland with Vision.
Yeah, and whose
Wanda.
fault is that?
His! Because they went with him.
No, he fractured the team, Tony Stark. Like, oh, collateral damage.
Yeah, but the alternative is Endgame and Infinity War didn't happen. Tony was right. They defend themselves. Nobody had to die. Half the universe did not have to die.
Listen, all I'm saying is, if a monster is attacking the city, do you really want the superheroes that could stop him to be caught up in red tape? Oh no, we gotta vote if the hero should save New York or London.
I'm sure glad that idealist who, with everything that was special about him, came out of a bottle was right. I'm sure glad his moral victory was amazing.
Like, I hate Tony Stark in that Civil War movie.
What? It's wrong that they shouldn't have responsibility for the crap they did in Age of Ultron? Really? They wrecked a country.
They didn't wreck a country, Ultron wrecked the country.
They also created the thing that wrecked the country too. I mean,
Now you're asking a very philosophical question here. Like, are parents responsible for the horrible actions their kids do?
yes,
No.
No.
they created said kids.
It depends on the age of the kid, okay? If we're talking about like a 6-year-old, yes. You should have started beating the kid's ass a few years ago.
Joe, Carol, have you ever seen the Studio Ghibli movie The Wind Rises?
I don't think so.
No,
Okay.
no, I don't think so either.
It's about a guy from Japan during World War One or Two, I forget which one, who basically creates the Japanese kamikaze planes, right? And his technology kills thousands and thousands of innocent people, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Including soldiers as well on top of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second half of that movie, is a Grave of the Fireflies Super Debbie Downer, if you know what I mean. Because it hits him like a freight train, the psychological impact of what he's done.
Okay.
Okay? And this
Like
is Studio.
Sarah Winchester.
Okay, this isn't a spoiler, by the way, because that is a biography movie.
We
was like one
spoil
of-
things all the time, buddy.
Yeah, but this is like one of the things that Miyazaki wanted to do because it was like on somebody that he always wanted to make a movie about. This is like real life.
Phil,
It's not
Phil.
fancy.
If you invent this amazing new technology that you think will better other people's lives, and somebody else weaponizes it and turns it into something horrific, it's not your fault. Your vision was to help people.
Okay.
Somebody else fucked it up.
What did Einstein say on his deathbed when he's talking about the atom bomb? I should have become a watchmaker. Sounds pretty responsible to me.
But it's again, it's a philosophical question. Like, how far do you take responsibility? Because listen, if your kid grows up to be an adult, His actions or her actions are their own. They're not yours. You did the best you could, hopefully.
I don't know. A lot of people blame my folks for the way I turned out with my Gundam. So
Yeah, I blame them too.
see, I agree.
Now it's your choice. Maybe, they might regret letting you get started on the addiction in the first place.
Harold, you know,
However,
I'm not allowed free will, and you've agreed with me many times.
I joke with you about that. I also joke with you and tell you don't need any other friends. You've got me.
No free will, only pineapples.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Yeah.
Yes. But no, I mean, because then if you say the parents are at fault for what the kids do, then you're taking a lot of things into consideration. Like I said, if they're just little kids, yes, the parent is definitely at fault, should be held responsible for not disciplining the kid, teaching the kid right from wrong. The older the kid gets, the less it's the parent's fault or responsibility.
Here's the inversion of the argument since the heat is on me, right? The microscope is on me, okay? Cap said a lot of crap in those movies leading up to Infinity War. Okay? Said a bunch of idealistic nonsense. He was in Winter Soldier talking about like, hey, this is a gun to everybody's face in the free world, okay? Not the whole world lives in freedom. What does he say in Civil War? Hey, we'll face the threat together. None of those things apply because Cap is never there on the scene when it actually kicks off.
Cap's never there because Tony fractured the team. He basically turned Cap, Bucky, Sam, and all the people who went with him into fugitives
Right,
because
so
they
this
wouldn't sign a
idealist-
piece of paper.
So this idealist who knows better constantly and always has everybody's moral back does not turn up when the chips are finally down and things finally happen.
He didn't know the chips were. He didn't know shit was hitting the fan because he was on the run for his life.
Uh-huh.
You do realize fugitives don't exactly always have the same info as, people who aren't.
Joe, I know we're talking about a guy who steals cars and eats babies, but
I know. We kind of are, yes. By the way, that Bucky and Sam show had a really good episode this week. I was bored this morning and watched it. It just had the two characters, acting as human beings for an hour, and it was wonderful.
yeah, but they hate each other, don't they? I mean,
No, they don't. The entire episode was basically Bucky helping Sam's family to repair a boat, and it was the most touching thing I've ever seen in the entire MCU.
are they calling him James yet?
They might, I don't know.
Because you can't go around calling somebody Buck or Bucky in the 21st century. Stop. It's like calling somebody Dick Grayson. Richard.
It's the worst nickname in existence, Dick.
It's pretty crap.
Yeah. Better than being named Shahid.
I happen to think the Rangel is a great name.
Hey, you know what? I think I found an exception where I would blame the parents for a child's actions, and it's the Joffrey argument. If you have incest babies.
Okay, yes, the parents basically created an unholy abomination that should have never been born.
I'm glad you used the word abomination. I was fearing there was no morality in this conversation.
Wait, but what's an abomination?
Just like the Habsburgs with all their inbreeding, and they basically were pretty much every royal family in Europe for a couple hundred years. Yeah, inbreeding wrong. Put him off to the wrong start, to a bad start, with a lot of disadvantages. But
I
his
stopped
choices
paying
were still
attention
his
to
own
the
in the end.
conversation for like 30 seconds. When did we go on incest? What the
Yeah.
Phil brought it up.
No,
Oh, of
Phil
course,
brought nothing
that-
up. What are you
That
talking about?
doesn't surprise me.
I was never confused.
It's all Phil's fault. Blame Phil.
Blame Canada.
Liverpool, clearly the Alabama of England.
Really? But I don't even know what that reference means. I mean,
Hey, nice things come from Alabama. Forrest Gump did.
what Florida?
Florida man does whatever a meth head can.
Carol knows what I'm Google searching right now. Before I even got that.
Saying that, if there's like a county or whatever in the UK that is the equivalent of Florida, what is it?
Wales?
Brighton?
I mean, like, if there's, I mean, what would our equivalent to Florida man be, basically?
Oh, where the most stupid drug-addled criminals are?
Listy, the mic's all yours.
Because Florida's more than just, stupid drug-addled criminals.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
It's
Technically, so is Scotland, but only by so much.
So, are the Irish the happy drunks and the Scottish the mean drunks?
yes.
I got two different answers for that.
Oh, the Irish do have a reputation for fighting. For being violent.
The Scottish have a nice reputation of not violence. Who were we kidding?
I never said they had a reputation for not being violent. Just,
They both have a reputation for being violent, and they both have a reputation for being drunks. The Irish are just happier about it.
Meanwhile, the Welsh. Oh God, the Welsh. The less said about the Welsh, the better.
Yeah. Well, the Welsh don't have a reputation for being violent. They do also have a reputation for being drunk.
No, the Welsh have
I
a
thought their
reputation.
reputation had to do with sheep.
Yeah,
And that
Like-
too.
like
Well, I
England-
was trying to avoid that.
England
Seeing
is.
One of us in this conversation, Phil, spent a considerable amount of time in Wales.
Yeah, so he knows what it's like.
Yeah.
England is kind of
Do you
like
feel like sheep?
the teacher in the class that's trying to keep the class all together, right? Scotland is like a noisy kid. Irish is the one that's constantly getting drunk and barely turning up on time. And Wales is just the neutral, boring kid who just turns up and goes, "What the hell's going on here?" Who technically is a principality.
Wales is kind of the wallflower of the UK.
Yeah.
It's kind of there, but everybody forgets it's there. I mean, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, England, Scotland, Ireland. What's that other one again?" Oh yeah, that one.
It's like the kid in the sidecar whilst we drive the motorcycle.
Mm. That said, for such a forgettable country, the fucking national animal being the fucking dragon, it's such a strange, like, fantastical fucking creature for such a boring kind of country.
Well, it's not a dragon. It's a guiber.
Whatever, shut up.
It's a
Same thing.
it's essentially a guiber is essentially a dragon with like a thorny nose and a coiled tail. But it's essentially the same thing but much smaller in mythology.
Like, dude, you keep track out of all these dragons, man. Like, oh, it's not a dragon, it's a wyvern.
Smaug is a wyvern. I don't care what they say.
Okay, Phil. It's okay.
Like, these things aren't real, buddy.
Yeah, but
Deep breaths, sweetheart.
the terminology is real. Like that is my basis on the claim. Like I totally agree, dragons are not real except in the case of Madagascar and Komodo. But
Oh yeah, Komodo dragons. They're
very real.
actually quite frightening.
Yes, yes, they are. That being said, they're not as frightening as the fictionalized dragons that we created for fairy tales. They don't breathe
Oh,
fire.
No,
Right.
Komodo dragons are fucking horrifying.
Yeah, they're actually
They're
horrifying.
extremely intelligent and they hunt in packs.
I tell you, the anaconda's the animal that I fear. Like, those
Right.
things freaking eat
Komodo
crocodiles.
dragons are actually like extremely vicious more than anything else.
Here's the difference between a Komodo dragon. It's a wandering pack hunter. Okay, so one of those alone is horrifying. A few of those together hunting you is bad. Okay, they've chased children to starvation up trees just to get them in Madagascar. Okay, whereas anaconda, they like staying underwater. They're very docile. They're actually quite a opportunistic kind of predator. You have to go by them in order to get trapped by them. As long as you stay out of the water, you're never going to get touched by them.
I'm just saying, anything that eats a crocodile is terrifying in my book.
Jeez, Komodo dragons have like eaten lions and tigers and all sorts.
Hippos are quite horrifying too for herbivores.
Yes, hippos are horrifying.
Oh, yes, they are.
The most horrifying part about hippos is a lot of people don't realize their skin is so thick they're basically bulletproof.
Not just that, but they sweat blood.